Good afternoon. My name is Donovan Kirby. I'm the career counselor here at Western Piedmont Community College. We would like to welcome you to our Thursday afternoon broadcast, where we're going to tell you a little bit about the early intervention team and our services. I've already told you my name. I'm Donovan, and I'm the career counselor here. I do lots of different things, and I'll get to that later. But I will hand it off to Annette for a brief intro, and then we will go from there.
Hi, I'm Annette Joy. I'm Director of Early Intervention, Testing, and Work-Based Learning. Thanks for the opportunity today.
And I am Carla Lanier. I work in the same building as Annette and Donovan in Hildebrand Hall on the main campus of Western Piedmont Community College, and I am the Disability Services Coordinator, and I'm glad to be with you today and can answer any questions that you might have about if you have a learning disability, physical disability, psychological, emotional. I'm here to assist students who have any type of disability.
That's great. You're going to get a lot of information today because the three of us cover so many different areas. We pretty much have services and supports that would be appropriate for every single student at Western Piedmont Community College. In my particular area, my primary focus is career counseling, which involves everything from basic career exploration, trying to get you started on a path towards choosing a career, all the way through, selecting your major and then helping you hopefully find a job at the end of your time here at Western Piedmont. I also do personal counseling. Personal counseling here at Western Piedmont can't take the place of a private therapist. I can't be your long-term primary therapeutic person. However, I am here for brief, short-term, solution-focused support to help you through personal problems that may arise while you're a student that's going to keep you from being as successful in your studies as you would like to be. I am a licensed therapist in North Carolina. I've been a licensed therapist since 2004. Most of my experience has been with college students. I've been in the higher education field since 1999, with only about an 18-month break in there where I did work at a public mental health agency doing primarily substance abuse treatment. A lot of students want to know what career counseling looks like and what the counseling process here looks like. Career counseling is fairly simple, and it's straightforward, and hopefully it's very non-threatening. What I try to do, and this is especially true during the COVID outbreak, what I try to do first is have students do online assessments first, which is a good way to kind of break the ice. It gets you started thinking about what you might like to do, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses may be that might need some attention later, what your interests are, what your work values are, all of those types of things. And the career assessments will give you kind of some suggestions about broad categories of careers that you might be well suited for. And then the student and I can get together either on the phone, through the computer, or in person and discuss the results. Sometimes that's all that's involved, the assessments and then a follow-up appointment. Depending on the student and individual needs, we can meet 2 or 3 times after that. It really is completely individual and up to the student. And it's, like I said, I try to make it non-threatening. It's not like going to therapy or anything like that. So I hope that all students at least take advantage of the online assessments that we have, just if nothing else, as a means of verifying that you're on the right path and that you're going in a direction that's appropriate and suitable for you. And then, of course, the personal counseling, I try to keep it very approachable and non-threatening as well. I hope that by this point in time, folks are more comfortable in reaching out for some assistance if they do hit a rough spot in the road. And since I'm not here to be your long-term therapist, I think that does kind of ease the transition and make things a little more approachable, because you're not coming in for therapy where you're going to air out all of your childhood issues and that kind of thing. But if you have any questions or concerns, I'll be happy to address those. You can reach me by phone or by email, and I'll be glad to work with you on career or personal or whatever your personal need may be. And before I hand it back off to Annette, I will tell you about a new service that's available to all students in the North Carolina Community College system, and it's called the Student Assistance Program. It is free counseling services that are available either in person, by phone, or through the computer. You get 3 free sessions per issue with an unlimited number of issues during this academic year. Those services are provided through a third-party provider. The name of the company is McLaughlin Young. They're a very well-known, reputable provider. And contact information for them is on our website. Go to www.wpcc.edu. Click Students at the top of the screen, scroll to the left, and you will see about halfway down a link for counseling. Look over that material, and all the contact information for the Student Assistance Program is there. And there's a link there that will take you to printed resources that could also provide some support for you. There's hundreds and hundreds of articles about a wide variety of topics that affect all of us on pretty much a daily basis. And the username and the password for that access is there on the screen for you. So at this point, I will wrap up my presentation and hand it back to Annette.
All right, thank you. All right, so I work with early intervention. It's a team of us that will reach out to students who may be struggling in their coursework or have maybe some other struggles that are holding them back from their course, their classwork or getting to class. And so that can range from not understanding the material, transportation issues, maybe some other personal things that are going on in their life, and we'll reach out to those students and help provide the support that they need and refer them to the right departments. A lot of students have no idea all the resources that we have on this campus and in the community that are free to them. So that's what we're here for, to help those students. I also help with testing, so that's placement testing. Due to COVID, there's a lot of different ways for placement. So the best thing would probably be, as far as placement testing, is to contact myself or your advisor, and we can help get you the right information. There's just so many different ways to be placed right now due to COVID. So instead of going into all those, we could discuss those on an individual basis. I also help with prerequisite questions. So if you wanted to take a class here and there was a prerequisite of English or math or another course, you can contact myself. There's several other folks here in student services you can contact also, but I can help you make sure that you have the right prerequisites to take the course that you're interested in. And then I also coordinate work-based learning, which used to be called co-op, so you may know it by that name, but it's a wonderful class that you can take that gives you on-the-job training in your field. So if that's something you might be interested in, feel free to reach out to me and I can see if you're eligible and if your program's eligible for that program. It's a great way for you to have received job experience that you can add to your resume while you're still here in school. So feel free to contact me at any time. My phone number is 828-448-3155, and my email is ajoy@wpcc.edu. And one more thing, if you do have test scores from another school or transcripts from another school, if you would just send those official transcripts to Western Piedmont, and then we can help place you by using those transcripts. And if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box. I'll be glad to try to answer.
Okay, I guess it's back to me. Again, I'm Carla Lanier, and I'm the director here in Disability Services. I'm one person of a two-woman office. Deanna Keller is the Disability Services Resource Specialist, and together we serve students who need any kind of assistance due to any kind of disability. And sometimes when people hear that word disability, they maybe think it's somebody who's blind, deaf, or in a wheelchair. But disability is a wide range of, is a broader definition in the educational realm. What it means is that you might have a condition or an illness that affects one or more areas of your life. So, for instance, a learning disability. Somebody may have been diagnosed with dyslexia. They're completely capable and going to go on to be a very successful, strong, independent, wonderful person, but they have that barrier in that one area. And so they would qualify for accommodations. The types of students we serve here have things like anxiety. They might have depression, they might have cerebral palsy, they might just have a temporary disability like a broken right arm, and that's the arm that they write with, and they need temporary assistance. But it's our office's job to provide services and supports. You'll hear me use the word accommodation, and that's basically we provide an alternative method or a support that can help you with whatever barrier you're struggling with due to your disability. And it's a very individualized process. Students have to take the initiative to reach out to us and self-disclose that they have whatever condition or disability that it is that they have. And then we have an interactive process where I interview the student and learn more about how this is affecting their learning or their functioning here on campus. And then there is the necessity to provide documentation from a qualified treatment provider. Sometimes that's a physician, sometimes it's a psychologist. Sometimes if you just recently graduated from high school and you have a recent psychoeducational evaluation that was done in your school, that would help. If it's medical or anxiety or depression, it might come from your primary care physician. But students do need to submit documentation that verifies that disability. And then together we come up with what is it that this particular student needs? What is it that you need? And so no accommodation plan is the same. They're individualized, but some common accommodations are extended testing time or separate testing. Some students need audiobooks, and some audiobooks are available for all students, but we help make sure you know where and how to access those audiobooks if you're somebody that needs it. And if that's not available, we have a way. Our disability services resource specialists will actually produce that audiobook if it doesn't already exist out there. But we will make sure you have adaptive equipment that you might need, or get you, sometimes we help students get connected with our local vocational rehabilitation agency, and they are very great in helping assist students getting specialized equipment. We've had students with pretty severe disabilities be able to do things that you might not think they would be able to do, but with the right adaptive equipment and the right supports, they're able to pursue their educational goals. We can't make any classes easier for students. All students are still expected to perform up to the standards. So it doesn't make it easier, but it makes it accessible. It makes it possible. And that's the job that I have here. And I love my job, and we have a great campus. It's a very, in fact, right now we're celebrating what we call Diversibility in the month of October, where we actually celebrate differences and celebrate that not everybody has to learn the same way or process information the same way. And our differences are what makes us stronger. Back to you, Donovan.
Thank you very much. And as of right now, I'm not seeing any questions, but if you have questions, please let us know. One thing I will add to what I said earlier, although I cannot provide, counseling services for folks who are not students, if you've got family members or friends who are thinking about going to college, but they're not really doing anything because they don't know what they want to study, or they don't know exactly which path to be on, it's completely okay for folks in the community who are not students to call me and do career counseling so that they can have a better idea of what they want to study before they do their application for admission. And the same thing would hold true for the other services you've heard about, even if they are not appropriate for you at this moment. If you hear of another student who might need these services, please direct them to us or direct them back to this video so that they can be aware of the services. I've been in higher education for a very long time, and I'm long enough to know that all the students aren't aware of all the services that every college offers. So if you're aware of a service and you hear of another student who has a question that pertains to one of these services, say, hey, there's an office that can probably help you with that, and then route them our way.
Can I chime in here, Donovan?
Sure, absolutely.
I would just like to remind students, a lot of the students I work with, especially if it's a learning disability, are really concerned that they can't do college, maybe because they think they can't get through the English classes or the math classes. But I just want to remind students that Western Piedmont has a lot of certificate programs and other programs where you can just come here and take, if you're interested in welding, you can get a certification in welding. Or if you just want to learn pottery, you can get a certification in our professional crafts clay program. There are certificate programs that allow you to hone in right with the hands-on portion of the skills. and that, you know, those are options for you. We also have a CNA program that's terrific, that people who do that program, it's done within one semester, and then there's lots of jobs in our community for the CNAs, and there's many programs. I can't list them all, but a lot of the students I work with are hesitant to come to college, thinking that maybe they can't get through the academic courses, but Donovan can help you learn what all those other options are for you and help you find a place that you fit in here at the college.
Absolutely. Thanks for adding that. That was great. Annette, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think you guys covered it. We just reiterate that we do have a lot of services here that will help a student be successful. And again, there's a lot of services in the community that we can find for you to help you if you're struggling with any life events.
Thank you very much. Well, seeing as there are no questions, we will go ahead and sign off. We appreciate your time and visiting with us here with the early intervention team at Western Piedmont Community College. We wish you well in your studies. And again, if you have family or friends who need to be in school or want to be in school and haven't made that first step, let them know that we're very approachable and we would be glad to help them along their way. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.